What's that, Skip? Seano's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day everybody, it's Seano again and I'm back with some more Supercoach content. Today, yes, we have received our early Christmas present and the team picker for the 2026 season is open. So we're going to go through, we're going to pick our first draft for 2026. This team's going to change a million times, but this is always fun. We get to have a bit of a play and see who we think might be some good picks this early on. Now, before we go on, it's going to be a big AFL Supercoach season, my second season of content creation. So please shoot me subscribe, like the video, and leave me a comment down below. We're going to have lots more for you this season. I'm going to try my absolute best to get you the best starting season and give us all a chance to win that 50K. All right, so let's get into it and see who we're going to pick. All right, there we go. This is what it looks like. And I think a good place to start, let's just start straight in the midfield. Now, I really think this year we're going to push for guns and rookies. Now, we're not going to know all the rookies who are going to be playing. So some of those are just going to be placeholders, and this is usually what I do each year. I get my primos in, I get my mid prices or my value picks in, and then you just have your bench. It doesn't really matter who's on the bench because you're not going to finalize that until the actual week when all the teams are named and you know who's going to play. So anyway, I think even at 700K, I think we're going to have to pick the Bond. I just think we need to have him. He's a captain choice every week. I know he's expensive. He will go down, but I think we just pick him and throw away the key. No, just pick him and we'll just live with it. So we got 10 million to spend this year. So it doesn't seem like a lot. It's not going to go that far. So we picked our number one. Who's going to be our number two? Do we have some value anywhere here? I mean, probably number two, Harry Sheezel is going to be the number one forward for the year, you would think. Pretty easy pick there. Don't think you can go past it. If we actually look at forwards here, between him and the next person is a mile away. I believe Nick Martin is injured, going to be out for the season, I think, or at least a long time, so we can't consider him. Christian Petrarca for Gold Coast could be right up there as a choice, depending on how much midfield time he gets and how much forward time he gets. I mean, they've got such good midfield there at Gold Coast, right? How much time is he really going to get? So, usually on forwards, don't want to spend too much money, but let's just say we lock him in as they're the two big ones for a forward line. So, we're going to make a kind of a rule this year. No one over 600,000 unless you're a midfielder. Even that Petrarca at 520, I think, is pushing what we want to pay for a forward. And as a defender, I would love to have Nasiah Wanganeen-Malera, but I believe he's cost too much. And I believe his price will come down. So I think we can get better value here. And a lot of these players, they've actually, looks like they've gone up a little bit. They finished a little bit lower than this. Like I know Zorko, I'm pretty sure he wasn't at around 550. We can have a look at the player results we like. So it could be expensive to get into the players that you really want. Wow, even Tom McCarthy's at 500K. All right. So if we're choosing no one's more than 600K, because what we saw last year is whoever we picked who was a really high price, they all went down. Even the Bont went down. So, I think the value picks are a little bit better. And I think Connor Rosie at 568 is pretty good value. I think he's going to stick around that price. I think that's not a bad choice for potentially our number one, number two midfielder. And maybe we go for one of the Whitfields or Lockie Ash too. Should we go Lockie Ash just to be, Whitfield's another year older. Lockie Ash had a great year last year. Can he do it again? Maybe just to be a little bit different, we do it again. And let's go back to midfielders now. Who's going to be our number 2 midfielder? Do we pay up for Zach Butters, or do we look for someone who's a little bit more value? Let's have a look and see let's see if we can find someone below 600 who seems to be reasonable value. Lachie Neale seems okay at 570, but we did see he got tagged quite a lot. Eric Goulden, I kind of like him at 566. Actually, I know who I want to find here. I know who I think is a reasonable value option this year. I think Jack Steele at Melbourne. I think he's going to be the number 1 dude at Melbourne. So at 510, I think he's a little bit of a bargain, and I still class him as a premium. We kind of know there's talk of him being a full-scale, full-on midfielder, get in and under man. So, I think he can boost his numbers back up. He's been a bit up and down at St Kilda, but his position was a little bit, he wasn't always that grunty midfielder that we like. So I think there's a good chance that he's going to go up. I'm not really counting him as a mid-pricer. I'm still counting him maybe as a fallen premium is what we want to call that. Clayton Oliver. Do we go there? I don't think we can go there this year, Clayton Oliver, until we see something. I think it's worth... We'll look at him for the first few matches before the actual lockout. I believe Gold Coast do play in round... do they play opening run? Sorry, GWS do play in the opening round. Don't forget, we've got another season of this crazy opening round and then buys in the first few weeks. So as the season gets closer, that may influence who you pick. If you've got someone who's got a buy in that first few weeks, you might not pick them, but we're going to pretty much just ignore that for the moment and pick the players that we like. So Clayton Oliver, I don't think I can go there again. I was burnt too much last year. We want to have a look at him. Will Day. I think Will Day is a very valid option if he could keep his body. If he can keep his body fit, I think he's a valid option. And there's another option who can keep his body fit. If Elliot Yeo can keep his body fit, he's a valid option. So do we want to... These are getting a bit more towards the mid prices, and so I'm really determined to have guns and rookies this year. So we'll have a few more guns in the midfield, maybe like 2 to 3, only one. When I say guns and rookies, you're still going to have some mid prices, but reduced as much as possible. So maybe 1 in each line, potentially 2 in the midfield. What about the ruck? Actually, we could have almost done the ruck first. So I'm surprised to see that Brodie Grundy is actually less than I thought he might have jumped up. So starting ruck, I think I'm going to go Cherry. The cherry on the top of the ice cream. He showed what he's capable of last season. He did have some ups and downs, but I thought he was brilliant. And when he did play well, and I don't think he's going to be the number 1 ruck. I don't think he's going to have any competition. So I think we're going to lock him in. Then there's always the question of, do you go for a value ruck or do you not? Now, there's one ruck I would like to see. I want to see if our mate from the Eagles, the Duff Man, as he's called, is a ruck. Is he a ruck or a forward? Now, I'm pretty sure that he's going to get a go, not so much in the ruck, but playing forward. So you say, well, Seano, why are you picking him if you know he's going to play as a key forward and he's probably going to get low scores? Well, remember what happened with the other Eagle ruck forward that we had, that we didn't start at the beginning of last year. The people that did start him had a nice little bonus. So if he plays, he only needs to get 50 or 60. He's going to make value. He is at this higher price, but even at this higher price, I think he's not going to be my number 2 ruck, but he will be on the bench. So let's pick a number 2 ruck first, and then we will go back. There we go. So who's going to be our number 2 ruck? Is there a mid-price ruck that we like? There's another one. Vicentini could be a cheap ruck. There could be some cheap ruck options here. Like Vicentini at Port. Sean Darcy is cheap if he plays. He's another one where the body is destroyed. Tom De Koning, I don't think we can go there until we see what happens with him and Marshall. If Marshall was injured and he had the number one ruck role, sure, I think it's possible. I don't think we can do that this year. Maybe we just pick two big set and forgets. Not too sure why Gawn isn't showing up anymore. Why aren't you showing up, Mr. Gawn? There it is. Brodie Grundy, he had that blinder beginning to the end of the season last year. Can he do it again? I'm not too sure, but let's just put him in, and then we're going to put the Duff Man here. As an Eagles supporter, it's nice to have someone called the Duff Man. So that's the ruckers locked up now. We've already spent half our money, and we've still got way more than half the players. So it's always a problem. Feels like 10 million isn't going to be enough, which it never is. So as for other rookies, we're going to have to get pick one mid-pricer for each line, and then and maybe two here, and then all the rest are pretty much going to be rookies. And like we spoke about before, it doesn't really matter which rookies you pick for your team pick at this time of the season. We'll have a little bit of a look at them. I have to admit, we followed the draft a little bit. As the Eagles supporter, I think a lot of the Eagles guys, we're going to chuck a lot of these young Eagle guys in the team, which will get swapped out, whether we find out whether they play or not. Not because I particularly think they're going to play, just because I am an Eagles supporter and I kind of know who we've got to pick. All right, so let's have a look. Let's go back into the midfield. Now, actually, in the defenders, there was a little bit of talk. Heard a little bit of a talk about a few value options here. Where is he? A lot of people are speaking about Nick Newman coming back from injury. We know what he's capable of when he has a really, a good season. So a lot of people are speaking about him. I don't know. $439, he still sounds a little bit expensive. If he was under 400, I'd be snapping him up. But at $439, I'm not too sure. There has been, Doherty has retired, so he does have probably that position locked up, you would think. But you don't know. And scrolling through, do we have any other, people coming back from injury? This is what I kind of like to do. Scroll through. See, is there someone coming back from injury that we're not too sure about? Is there someone that we think we could possibly break out next season? Riley Bice is still kind of cheap, but he had sort of turned down. He had a really good start to his season, then it turned down near the end, and he had that injury. All right, so say we do that. Now let's fill out with some rookies, or even Brandon Starcevic, if he plays at 270 for the Eagles, seems reasonable. Do we have any filters? Can we just... There should be another Eagles man as well. Filters, West Coast Eagles. So basically we're just picking rookies now. Josh Lindsay seems reasonable. What about the other dude? He must be a midfielder. Robertson, maybe Bo Allen, and then two other rookies here. I think Lindsay looks like he has a reasonable chance of playing. He looks like a good draftee. Starcevic, well, they got him in. He's got a bit of experience coming over from Brisbane, so I think the chances are that he's going to play. Now, in these two positions here, honestly, we're going to just go down the bottom, see if there's some names that we recognise. So all the way down to the bottom, we won't pick a 99k player because we want to be realistic. You know, you don't know if you're going to get a 99k player. So we're going to pick two 113k players. And hopefully one will be a defender mid. So say we pick this St Kilda dude. Got no idea who he is. Will he play? Got no idea. And we're going to pick another one. Maybe this guy from Sydney. Don't forget, these guys, we have no idea where they're going to play. We have no idea who they are. They could be injured. They could be rookies. They could be anything. So they're just placeholders. I think all three of these dudes could possibly play. Now, in theory, we might even need this here, might be here. Instead of Newman, might be here. Actually, let's do that. I think instead of Newman, we'll put Starcevic there. Go real cheap. And then another just random rookie here. Random rookie. Cruise down. The old searching players isn't coming up very well. Like I said, don't want to do a 99 player. But we will just do someone else again. Will Darcy. Under 13.5. There we go. All right. So as you can see, we've got our two primos, not going anyone over 600,000 like we discussed. And then basically one mid-pricer. I think Starcevic at this price, if he plays, is going to be an easy pick. You would think the Eagles got him in to play. You'd think he's in the senior team pretty much, as long as he's not injured. So I think he could be a very good value at that price for a player that you know is going to play. Allen and Lindsay, we don't really. I think they could be in the team. They could be out of the team every single week. Don't forget, there is no sub rule anymore. So if they do play, they will play a full game. You don't have to worry about them being the sub, which is fantastic. So let's go down to the forward line and do something similar. So in the forward line, now, is there a value pick that we want in the forward line? Let's cruise down. Go slowly, Sean. Don't just fly past a million different names. Callum Archie at his new club. Jack Waterman. No. Darcy Wilson. Garcia. Can Garcia have a better year this year? What about our mate at St Kilda? How much is he? We all thought Philippou. We all thought he was going to do very well last year, and he didn't quite live up to our. Oh well, if he's at that price and he plays, bring it on. You know, he had a pretty rough season. He only got 7 matches, and I think he might have been the sub for a couple of those. So at that price, we're going to put him in there. I think if he plays, and he plays through the midfield like we're all talking about that he might, I think that's an absolute bargain, and definitely going to pick him. Not even if he only gets 60 like a rookie, he's not much more than a bargain basement rookie. So I think that's a pretty good pick. Who else have we got? So let's scoot on down. Like I said, I think in the forward line, you can afford to go very cheap. So I think we're almost going to pick all rookies now. Let's go down again to the rookies. Fly down to the bottom. Again, do we have any Eagles rookies? Because I know who they are, crew. Dev Robertson, yep, lock him in. As a forward, nice. I don't think he'll be playing in the forward line. So if he plays, he's another mature age recruit coming over from Brisbane. Has had a lot of injury problems, but if he plays at that price, nice, a lock. There's a bit of chance was a bit injured. We've already got Cooper the Duff man. I don't think there's anyone else there from the Eagles. Tim Kelly is a forward mid. That's interesting, crew. Tim Kelly's a forward mid at 400k. If you're looking for a cheap second, like maybe you don't want to spend up for Petrarca, you don't know how Petrarca's going to go, get some money in the bank, Let's do that. Let's do that. That's going to give us a little bit more money, and it gives us a look at Petrarca and to see how it goes. He had a pretty rough season last season, but if he plays full time in the midfield, I think he can score pretty well for a 400 player. I certainly think he can get more than a 74 average. I think he could be close to a 90 to 100 average. Don't forget, it is the Eagles who are going to have another shit season, you would expect, being the youngest team in the league and still pretty average. So long time before they're going to get any better. But I think as a forward, I think that's a valid option. I'm surprised we missed that. Are there anybody else around that price that you think that would be better, crew? Let me know down in the comments. Sam Flanders. Gonna play midfield. All right, we've all been talking about him. So he is we're going to call these two premium, even though it's kind of a bit of a stretch for Tim Kelly these days. But Sam Flanders, coming over from Gold Coast. The reason he came to Saints, they sold it to him. You're going to get to play midfield. He came out in an article the other day and said, that's what they said. They said, I'm going to get played midfield. I'm going to be with De Koning and Marshall. Give me the ball. That's what I want to do. So you assume they're going to give him a really good run at it. So at 396, we saw what he could do. He did, when he got those really big numbers a couple of years back, it was mostly in the back line with a bit in the midfield. So I'm thinking, I think a lot of people get excited when they see these backmen move in the midfield, but there are some backmen who score just better when they're back, when they're that distributor kind of a role. So, we'll have to see if he can still score big in the midfield, but at 396 as a forward, I think that's pretty much a bargain. And let's just fly down here to the bottom and pick some. We'll pick a ruck swap so we can move the Duff man around. This guy from Melbourne seems reasonable. That way we'll have one space for our captain, a captain loophole. Plus we'll be able to move Duff Tyler up and down if we want. Whether the season comes and we change our mind, because money generation is important. If having a dead rookie is worthwhile. I think once the season gets started, it's always nice to have a dead rookie, but quite often one of the rookies you pick anyway will be dead, and you'll be able to use him as your captain loophole. Captain loophole saved me many times last year and helped me get the score that I did. So I think it is worthwhile, but at the moment we'll just use him as basically a swap. Plus he's dirt cheap, which is nice. Now, do we recognise any names? I recognise Tyler Williams here for the Eagles, but do I think he'll get a game? I have no idea. When we want someone with mid-forward, which, let's put him in. Just let's fill our team through of dodgy Eagles players. I think the Eagles will be very Supercoach relevant this year with all their rookies. And I wonder how much we'll see when we get to the midfield, the number one draft pick is this year. Will we be picking the number one draft pick? He could definitely get a shot. I mean, there are spots up for grabs. And let's just pick another. We'll just load it up with Eagles being an Eagles supporter. But you could pick anyone. If you're picking your first team, just chuck anybody in here. The good thing is, probably put someone with you got swap, dual position status. Or swapsy, as we like to say here with me and my friends. Finn McRae, actually, he could even be a better choice. Finn McRae could play in the midfield, right? He's recruited over. He's a mature age from Collingwood. Eagles need some mature age guys. They might give those guys, especially earlier on in the season, a bit of a run before they give some of these young kids a run, Why wouldn't you? Do you get him over? You bring him over to the club just to sit him on the bench, or do you give him a run and see how they go? Dev Robertson and both Finn McRae both fit into that category of guys that could slot straight into the best 22 of the Eagles. They have experience. So I think that's fine. I think there's some good picks there. I think Robertson, McRae are good picks. I think the Kelly pick is very dubious. in the back line. Lindsay, I think he might struggle to make the team, but I hear he's very good. He's got a very good kick, and he's very so that might help. He is a young man. He is a proper, just was drafted, 17, 18-year-old. Bo Allen might get a run in the midfield. Who knows? All right, so how much money we got left, crew? We got 3 million left. So is that enough for one more gun mid? One more gun mid? Now, last year, what about if we go Gordon? We know what he's capable of too. He's probably a little bit unders in price, I'm thinking. A little bit unders. And so I'm thinking he's not a bad pick. See anybody else? Anyone game to go Jason Horne-Francis as a midfielder only? I won't be going there. You'd have to show something pretty special to get me to go there. Will Day, we know he's got potential. He is held together with sticky tape, but he's got potential. Elliot Yeo also has potential if he also held together with sticky tape. But, you know, if these guys can get their bodies right and get on the field. So now we're kind of just, what about, like we said, fielders, let's have another look at the Eagles and see how much the number one draft pick will be. Number one draft pick is 200,000. So let's just say he's going to get a run. Again, I mean, he sounds really good, and as Eagles supporter, I'm glad we picked him up. Sounds extremely versatile, can play all over the ground. Sounds like he's already played a bit of AFL in the, or not AFL, but state leagues. So let's give him a go. Let's assume that he's going to be in the team. There's going to be a lot of competition in the Eagles for these teams. Are they going to pick the old guys or are they going to pick the young guys? Personally, we're going to get flogged a lot as far as I'm concerned, so you might as well pick the young guys. But who knows what Mr. McWalter is going to do. So just for another rookie, but even though we might, how much money have we got? Our rookie's going to take up about 300,000. This, we're going to have 1 million left. So we can afford 2 mid-ish prices, even though we said we're not going to do mid prices. So, I mean, this might be a way that I think we're potentially, I think the forward line, there looks like there's a lot of value in the forward line. I think I'm going to go very cheap in the forward line with just one gun. Sheasel, I'm going to lock him in there unless he gets injured. He's locked, almost guaranteed to be the number one forward of next year. Let's do some type of stats. Oh, we've got to fit in a flex position too, don't forget. So that's another, so let's just say another rookie. And we're going to do that, Eagles do that we were going to do in the midfield. And maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we should do that. Tyler Williams, I don't really think he'll play, but we'll put him there. Then we still need those 3. So we probably can afford a 500,000 player. I think we could afford a 500,000 player. No more Eagles. Well and truly enough Eagles. Like I said, these players will not be in my team in next year. So one thing I like to do sometimes, crew, is I actually like to break it down per team. Click on the team. There's not as many players to go through. And you just have a bit of a look and you see, is there value here? Daniel Curtin had a good end to last season. Sid Draper was the sub a few times. Did show some signs though of being pretty special. So let's put him in there. Did show some signs of having some, really good games, but I believe he was the sub a few times. If we wanted to check, we can have a quick look over here. Sid Draper, make sure I'm thinking about the right player. Actually, maybe I'm thinking about the the rookie dude. Sub, both times for Supercoach scores of, where's his score? 12 and 16, and then a 0 wasn't even used as a sub in the last game. So he played a few games as subs and only got low score. So maybe he gets a run at a full game. He was almost the sub every single game he played. And he actually got a couple. He got a 56 and a 49. No, this game looks like no sub here. Time on ground, 60%, 60%, 59%. So if he can get 40s and 50s off 59, 60% time, you think he could probably get a 60 or a 70 if he plays a full game and he's not the sub. So I'm thinking, that's still a reasonable pick. Still thinking that's a reasonable pick. So no one else there that really jumps out and grabs me. Let's go to the next team. We'll skip down to Richmond. Who was the Richmond player I was thinking of? Josh Smiley. Is he a chance? Tolleson. He might have been a midfielder. Or forward for them. And that's what we should do as well. So we didn't really look in all the lines. We just looked in midfield. So in the ruck, no one there in the ruck interests us. Midfielders. No. Defenders. Still think Josh Gibbs is, if he can get a run at it, I think he is a reasonable pick too as a value pick in defence. If we can afford him, we'll come back and put him in instead of one of these dudes. I think he'll be, he'll get a game if he can play. All right, there's no one else there. We're definitely not trying Jaden Short again. We got burnt last year. That's what we're trying to avoid this year. Picking these 400,000 players who don't work out. I prefer to pick a rookie and a gun. If the gun doesn't work out and you can go down, you can, if I've got Lockie Ash here and he doesn't work out, before the prices go up and down, I'm just going to drop him down to the best mid-pricer available. Or maybe there's a rookie going crazy. I'll pick him. That's much easier to do than finding the money to go from one mid-pricer to another mid-pricer. Maybe the other mid-pricer you want's a little bit more expensive and you can't afford him. So that's the plan this year. I'm definitely going as guns and rookies as possible. We say that now, like you look at my midfielders, not exactly guns and rookies. We got a whole lot of, Yode and Day, I'd call them mid-prices, but, I think you're allowed an extra one. Like I said, one in the defenders, one in the forwards, and maybe two in the midfield with your breakouts or, your breakout or best you could value. So defenders, Zorko at 550. Jasper Fletcher, I think Zorko might be slowing down. Jasper Fletcher might be taking over the crown. He could be a good pick this year, but he's a little bit too expensive for my liking. Kitty Coleman, anyone want to go there for 233? 70 player. He looks like a 70 player at the moment. Tom Duday, I hope I said that right, has shown potential. He could be a good one of these value picks if he gets a regular game. Is there anyone in the actual midfield that we want? For starters, we can still afford one more premium, I believe. Would we go Lockie Neal? We saw he got tagged a lot last year. So no more players over 600k because we know they're going to come down, right? We know the players are going to come down. So then any of these players, Like McCluggage could be a great pick. Dunkley could be a great pick. But at some point of the season, they'll go down. They'll drop below the 600 mark, and you can pick them up. This year, I really want to hope that I can pick up someone, between 5 and 600,000, and hopefully they hold their value or go up. And then I'll snatch one of those really good guys, whoever's in the best form, when they drop down. Obviously, they probably won't be in the best form if they drop down, but, Sam Draper, here's an interesting pick for a value ruck. If he's the number one ruck there, this could be a choice. This could be a pick. It's certainly on the riskier side, but if he shows he's the number one ruck, I think he's averaged 90 and priced at 396. So I'd say that's by far unders. If he continues to do the 90s, he'll jump up to being much more than that. And if you get a 400k player, he's a ruck forward. Actually, I'm going to do it. Let's lock it in, because it gives me that versatility through the Duff Tyler and my other guy, and to swap them around. Even potentially, he might even be a potential flex position player. But for the moment, let's do that. Then we can think about what we want to do. We can see that also gives us a look at Grundy. Grundy had such a belter at the end of last season. Is he going to do it again? He's never done it before, not to that extent anyway. I don't know if any player has had the kind of run that he had at the end of last season. So can he do it again? Who knows? Obviously he's capable, but will he is the question. So this is the good thing when you go through by team. You come up against people that you don't like. We shot through the rucks and we didn't even see Draper there. Obviously, Draper, if you remember, played for Essendon last year, was a bit injured, wasn't the number one man. Well, he was the number one man when he was there, I believe, but now he's come to Brisbane. Oscar McInerney has retired, so there's a very, very good chance that he's the number one man there. All right, who else have we got? Carlton. We already talked, so forwards. Anyone in the forward line that we like? Not really. As you said, we don't know too many of the rookies for the other teams. We really concentrated on the rookies that we were looking at. Pittner's probably going to be their number one ruck there now. 400k. If you feel like that's a value option, you might be able to think about it. The midfielders. Hewitt had a very good season. Sam Walsh is apparently training well. Don't think I could go Sarah or Cribbs. Oliver Florent is coming over from, I believe, from the Gold Coast, I believe. He might have a chance of getting a bit of midfield time. Jaeger Smith, lock him in. This is one we know. He's on the field. He's playing well. He had that rough, we all had him picked last year and then he had that injury. I think if he starts the season on the field, you lock him in. From what I've seen from match simulations and stuff so far, it looks like he's doing quite well. So that's good to hear for him, and hopefully we will see him at the beginning of the season. Carlton also have a Duff man. It's nice of them. Harry Dean. Anybody else here we like in defenders for Carlton? Not really, except for the Nick Newman, which I think is a risky pick. The Nick Newman, but it could pay off for you. I think I'm going to wait and see how it goes. Like I said, maybe Lockie Ash doesn't have a great beginning of the season. Nick Newman smashes it. I go Lockie Ash down to Nick Newman. I make myself 150k and I spend that somewhere else. All right, next team. Sorry about it. The video is going a little bit long, crew, but it is my first challenge, first pick. So I hope you're still with me. Don't forget, if you're still with me, to hit that subscribe and hit that like button and let me know who I'm missing. Are there any really rookies that I'm missing that you think are a must-have from your team? Any draftees you got which you think that are awesome and you must have them. I must have them in my team for next year. Or any super value picks that I'm missing that you like are almost must-haves. Look at this, Jordan De Goey. Mid-forward 320. This could be a very good pick too, as for value picks go. this could be this could be the mid-pricer for the forward. I think at this price, if he gets a good hard run in the middle, if Pendlebury, is more back on that back line and less in the middle, I think, Degoe, less forward, more mid-time, means for some very good scores. And being a high-impact player, he only really needs to get 20, 25 possessions and a goal or two, and he's going to have big scores. So let's put him in. And now we really only want 2 rookies, but we're going to, we could just slap in a couple of these guys. Next rook we find at 113. We're still going to go through all the teams, have a look who's available and who's not. No one there. Dan Houston at 430. Defender is another one of these like Nick Newman guys. We know what he can do. Just will he do it at Collingwood? Rucks, Darcy Cameron seems the only real option for Ruck there at the moment. So I think he's a pretty safe pick at 600 if you want to do the lock Ruck. But I'd probably pick someone. I'd probably go one of the other big guys. And don't get me wrong, I'm not looking past Gawn either. Gawn, a lot of people, I started with him last year and he really helped me get the big score that I did by smashing up some huge scores. He is a captain option every week if he's playing solo ruck, so you can't say Gawn is over it. Not yet, anyway. Essendon. All right, start with defenders. Redmond, McGrath, Archie Roberts could have a good season. I think Jordan Ridley at 418 is another one of these mid prices. We've seen what he can do in the past. He could have a really good season. I think he's someone worth keeping an eye on. No one else there in the midfield. We know Nick Martin's out. Jai Cadwell came back and had a really good season, but he is he was a bit injured on and off. Zach Merritt is an interesting one. If you want to, they tried to trade him off. Well, he wanted to trade and he couldn't get traded. Maybe he's going to come back with a vengeance and be an angry man and just blow it up. Or maybe he's just going to slack off knowing that he's probably going to get traded at the end of next year. He's no longer the captain, so he doesn't have to worry about being the captain anymore. Maybe he can just concentrate on his midfield and start smashing out big scores. I think it's an interesting pick. He meets my criteria of being under 600k, so I think he's a reasonable pick. Darcy Parish at 334, I think, is another very good value option. A very good value option. We've seen what he can do. If he can keep his body right, he only had 3 matches. I think we're just going to put him in as a placeholder as well. And now we definitely we're just going to slap in a really cheap rookie when we find one. Rucks, Essendon, I think Vigo might be the number 1 ruck at 181k. He's even cheaper than Duff Tyler. So, we know what rucks can do, right? We know what rucks can do when they're number 1 ruck. If he is named number 1 ruck with no help, or with, just like a part-time ruck there who helps him out, who's a forward, could be a very good flex, or could be a very good flex. Actually, let's make him our flex. Let's make him our flex. We could swap him up here with the Duff man. We have Draper there as well. We did learn last year that we don't love a ruck in our flex position because it kind of, blocks up the rest of the team. So I don't know if as the season starts we'll have it. We'd much prefer some type of dual position mid forward here or something. Someone like Finn McRae from the Eagles will be better. But I can always put Duffman here. So I could put Duffman here, Finn McRae here, Fizzatini over here. And then who knows, that could work out for us. So we're still looking for, let's have a look at forwards. Anyone forwards, if you pick Isaac Kako, you've got big cojones. Jade Gresham, probably one of his lower season. He came over from St Kilda last year. Could be a good value pick. He played 19 games and seemed to score big. So let's just, do we have a... don't have. I'm still looking for a midfielder. So okay, Freo. There is a value player, Freo, that I know that I like. Defenders, Jordan Clark, I think he can go there again this year. Luke Ryan wasn't quite himself last year. Can he get back to those huge scores? A little bit risky. I would almost call that a mid-pricer. Here's the premium line. It's a little bit expensive for a mid-pricer, but I think he's got the same risk as a mid-pricer. That's why I wouldn't go there. No other mids there that I really see jump out and grab me. Now, here's the man, Hayden Young. Let's just put him in there for a second. We said we were going to go guns and rookies, and we've got a ton of the mid prices here. So in theory, the team will not look like this because these three guys won't be there. This way, we would have these three guys would actually be on the we can do it. In years past, you haven't been able to do it. So there we go. So I think Young, we've seen what he can do. He was a bit had a rough time with injuries last year, and so there is some very good value in here. We said we wouldn't go mid prices, but looking at it, there is some good value. But I kind of feel like the forward line, I'm pretty happy with the forward line, right? Pretty happy with the forward line. Sheasel, Kelly could get pumped up. How much money we got? We got 286k. We've got a rookie here. We've got this rookie here, which is our ruck swap, which is fine. And we've got the ruck, the ruck here. This is assuming that Visitini plays and is the number one ruck, which maybe we need to make this another decent player first until we actually know that that's going to be the case. So, but I'm quite happy to have, instead of Visitini, one of these have mid prices that can cover me. Like Jordan Ngoe seems like the perfect choice. He's a forward mid. He's going to provide me flexibility. So, and he's going to be able to, potentially have a good season and good scores. So, Andrew Brayshaw, he's over, I think, is out of Sarong and Brayshaw. I'll still be picking Brayshaw again, but Sarong is a bit cheaper. I don't think any of us will go near Shai Bolton again after last year. Any other value there? I can't see any value. Rucks, Luke Jackson. Again, with Sean Darcy, we saw what he can do when Darcy's not around. He is an absolute monster. If for any reason Darcy was injured and out for a long period at the beginning of the season, I think he would become a very interesting pick. But he is ruck only this year, which as a ruck forward, I think he'd be a lot more interesting. But he is a monster when Darcy's not in the team. But while Darcy's there, I don't think you can pick him. Not much going on in the forward line for them. For Freo, nope. Okay, who else we got? We'll try and quicken up the video a little bit now. Crew. Again, defenders for Gold Coast. Zeke, is he one of their new players? I'm not picking any of the rookies that are expensive until I know and I've seen them play, except for the Eagles guys who I think are going to play. All the rest of the rookies. So that's why we probably need a little bit of extra money left by, because some of these rookies, we're probably going to want a 200k rookie, or someone we know who's going to play. It would be nice if we could get all 113k rookies or less, but that is just not viable most of the time. Matt Rao had a great season. I bought him when he was nice and cheap. They're both over 600k. So I think Petrarca is still a very valid pick for the forward line. I'd like to have a bit of a look and see what position. If he plays pure midfield, I think, he could be a jump from Kelly up to him, or maybe a third primo here somewhere, like Finn McRae on the bench, try and work out a way to get McRae in here somehow. Petrarca in there somehow. Rucks, Witts didn't have the best season last year, but I think he's still fairly consistent as Rucks go. I don't know if I'd pay that price for him though. All right, next team, we got Geelong. Okay, defenders. Tom Stewart at 500k. I won't be going there. He held together with sticky tape. Could be a great pick at 500k. Could get injured the first week. Anybody else there that I really like? No. Midfielders, Bailey Smith, he's above 600k, so I'm not going to go there. Max Holmes, also mid-only this year. They're both mid-only, so I think they could be in the top. They could easily be in the top 8 midfielders, but I'm going for the less than 600k guys. Like I said, just one or potentially two. You know, if I could get Butters into the team as well, maybe he's another captain choice. He's another one that talking about trading and didn't get traded. So, rucks, I don't think we ever pick a ruck from Geelong just because they throw them around. Brian Myers had a really good season as a forward. 500k is probably a little bit on the pricey side, but I can see why people would pick him up. Very consistent, 21 matches, average of 94. So I can see why people would pick him up. So no one there. GWS defenders, like we said, Whitfield or Ash. We just went with Ash because he was a little bit cheaper, but had a great season. Don't think there's anyone else there. Add midfielders. I think Clayton Oliver at 500. That's more expensive than what we got him for last year. I think we got him for 400 and something last year. So I don't think we can go there. Tom Green could have you never know, he could have a blind of the season. Finn Callaghan, we had him at the beginning. Unfortunately, if you're like me, you sold him out and then he went really good. So he could have a great season. I just think they've got so many midfielders that I'd really be, I don't know who is going to be the main man. Is it going to be Tom Green? Is it going to be Finn Callaghan? Is it going to be Clayton Oliver? Josh Kelly's getting a bit old, but he's still going to be there getting the ball a little bit. So, you know, if I had a guess, I'd say it's either going to be Callaghan or Green, but who knows? Caniglio, he could come back and have a decent season. You never know. He's another one roaming around there, stealing the ball off the other guys. So, Kieran Briggs, 420, probably the number one ruck. Pretty game if you go there, I think. And Toby Green burnt me a little bit last year when I got him in when he was really cheap, and then he decided to get injured. And he is always a chance to get suspended as well. So I don't think I'd be going there. Hawthorn, defenders, Carl Amon, maybe James Sicily. We've seen what he can do if he gets a full-time job in the back line there at 480. He sounds like he could be pretty good value. Josh Weedle came over from the Hawks. Is that right? Was he there last year? I think maybe he was there last year. I might be thinking of Josh Ward came over from the Hawks. If he was a bit cheaper, I'd consider it. You know, I would consider it. John Newcomb, apparently they say he's going to have a big year. I heard somewhere, but, you know, they say that about players every year. I don't think I'd pay that for him. Ward, if you want to take a risk, but I think there's cheaper options. Like if you said to me, do you want to go Josh Ward or Hayden Young? You're picking Hayden Young every day of the week, right? Josh Ward or Darcy Parish at over 100 grand cheaper. You know, Darcy Parish has the runs on the board. We know he can get big scores. Josh Ward, still a young man. He has the potential, but we haven't seen him hit that full potential yet. So, you know, I'm thinking there's some better options out there. Rucks, I don't know. Ned Reeves, if he got the number one ruck position over Meek. Obviously, Meek was the man last year. If he was injured, something Ned Reeves came in at 242, could be considered. Forward Dylan Moore, 86 last year, 464. I think maybe with the Flanders and the Kellys and stuff at a cheaper prices, I think maybe could be considered, but maybe a little bit pricey for my liking. I think we can afford to go cheap in the forward line this year. Cheap in the forward line, expensive in the midfield, and potentially the ruck and the defenders. You know, defenders not so much. Like no one over 600. Midfielders, we could potentially have a couple of dudes over 600 if we want. And forward lines, we just have the one, no one over 600, and then basically no one over 5 or 500 to 520 max is what I'm thinking. Obviously, there's a long way to the beginning of the season. All these things could change. Someone's going to come out in the preseason games and they're going to smash it. And we're going to go, oh, we need to have him. And it's probably going to be a flop or it's going to be a great pick. But if everyone picks him, sometimes you have to pick him. So we're in Melbourne. There's no one defenders there that really grab me. Like I said, I kind of think Jack Steele has a bit of upside there at Melbourne. I do think since there's no longer Petrarca, there's no longer Oliver, he's going to be the number one man. Harvey Langford, I think it's a decent pick as a breakout player. But again, I'd prefer to take the Goeys and the Hayden Youngs and the Parishes of the world that have the runs on the board. Max Gawn, I mean, if you want to set and forget, I don't see why you shouldn't pick him. Max Heath, they bring Max Heath in, ruck forward. He played 4 games last season. So if they run Max Heath with him, might be, something to consider that maybe Max Gawn's no good. And they might even be something to just consider for a flex or for on the side. He's only a few thousand more than Cooper Duff Tyler. He has the ruck forward. So that's something to keep an eye on. As for forwards, Pickett is the highest scoring forward for them. I don't see anyone here that really jumps out and grabs me and says, pick me, Seano. All right, sorry, crew. I know it's going long, but we're getting through there. Defenders for North Melbourne, Caleb Daniel won't be going. Kobe McKercher is a very valid pick. A very, very valid pick, I think. And I think a lot of people will be picking him. He is classed as a mid-pricer. And like I said, we don't love the mid-pricer. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look. Okay. Colby McKercher. Sorry, Colby. Calling you Kobe. So many Kobe's out there, isn't there? So let's have a look how he scored. So coming through the end of the season, we kind of had that role. So let's go backwards. Round 24, 78. But before that, 103, 118, 123, 106. He had a 58. Before that, 110, 123, 108. Then he had 96. He had a 60, 144, 129. And in the beginning of the season, what's dragging his score down is he had these scores at the beginning of the season. So, if we took that out, if we go into... one of the good things about using DFS is you can actually... Colby McKercher, you can go down here and you can normally go, and if you shift down to, say we go down to here, we got the 129. So from round 10 to round 24, he averaged 103. So from round 10 to round 20 to round 24, when they settled on that back line a little bit and got him in there, he averaged 103 and he's priced at 83. So he's priced 20 points less. 20 points less than what it is. So with that in mind, I'm like, I need to get this guy in my team somehow. He's going to be my mid-pricer. How do I afford him? Probably dropping one of these mid-prices in the midfield. And don't forget, I don't love this ruck setup here. This is more than likely going to change. I think it's a little bit risky. Draper, I think I'm more keen for the set and forget. So, I don't think all of these dudes, maybe we get rid of Will Day. We know he's held together with sticky tape, or even Even Goulden, not Eric. Goulden can be up and down. He can deliver huge scores or he can deliver okay scores. There's a chance his price comes down. Who would we prefer out of those two? More upside value in Will Day, potential for huge scores for Goulden. let's just drop Goulden for the moment. Have we got some cheapo midfielder? We do have a cheapo midfielder here. So we're just going to say like Jaeger Smith on the field. And they're here. How do we get... Which is the most expensive? This guy. This guy's the most expensive. Colby McKercher. There we go. See, this is why I like going through team by team. You see these guys that that you're like, wow, we have to have him. And I think McKercher is almost going to be, if he comes out in the practice games, plays that defensive role, we've seen what he can do. He's 20 points under at his price. So I think there's some good value there. Right, midfielders, Sheasel, like LDU, I think he's pretty good value here. I think he could potentially have a good season. I think if you went there, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't mind if he's a little bit cheaper, but I think he's good value at that price. He fits my under 600k. The only thing, he was a little bit up and down last year, so I don't know if I can trust him to come out. I have to see something pretty good from him in the preseason game. Rucks, we know we already got the ruck, and forward, we know that the Sheasel is bound to be the man. He's bound to be the man. All right, who is next? Mr. Port Adelaide. Defenders, Connor Rosie. We've got him less than 600k. He's our number one man at the moment. We saw he gets, if he stays in that role and doesn't move up to the midfield, he has potential to get he's very consistent, I think, in that role. In the midfield, he had chances, like he used to go forward and kick goals. I think he's got potential of massive scores in the midfield, but he's also got potential of not so massive scores in the midfield. Here's another one. Let's have a look and see what his percentage was after he moved to that back position. All right, when do we think that he moved back from, obviously, about halfway through after the buys? Would we say that he moved back? I mean, or was it early? I think it was almost close after the buys. Let's say round 10. Let's just say round 10. Oh, sorry about that, crew. I don't know what happened there. Had a bit of a hissy fit, or I pressed a button that I wasn't supposed to press. Connor Rosie. Oh, yeah, I press shift, which you're not supposed to press. And we'll go, do we want to include this 134? We'll say the 100, well, let's just say the 134 was in the midfield. Where's the buy? 9, 10, 11, 13. So let's say after the buy he came out. So he scored after the buys 105.2. Now, if we have a look down, I mean, he was doing pretty well in the midfield too. He was doing pretty well in the midfield. I mean, 120, 130, 64, 76. He does drop a few of these 60s and 70s when he doesn't have bad games. But once he went back, his lowest score, he did drop a 75 and a 53 and 80. So he still was a little bit inconsistent. But once he went back, 105 he scored. Okay, that's what happened. So 105, and he's priced at 105. So he's priced at exactly what he scored for the last half of the season. So fair enough. Miles Bergman, can you go? I think he's injured. Did he get injured? True, you let me know. Did he get injured, Miles Bergman, near the end of the season there? Lost his mid-forward status. Zach Butters, still high in contention. If I was going to go 2 over 600 players, I might just go Lockaway, Butters, and Bont. We did see they both came down last year. Any forwards here that we like? Nope. All right, next team, Richmond. I think we already had a quick look at Richmond, didn't we? So let's skip over Richmond. Even though I did in the midfield, where is he? Josh Smiley, if he gets a run at it, another one of these. He's second. He didn't get a match because he was injured. He injured himself at the beginning of last season. Will he be playing? Can you guys let me know? Will he be playing at the beginning of this year? If he does, maybe that's an option. Sam Laylor could also be an option. He's a forward only. If he gets midfield time, but, I think, were you going to pick him or are you going to pick DeGoey for 30k more? I think you're going to pick DeGoey for 30k more, right? All right. St Kilda. Wangini Malera, we would love him, but he's on the too expensive. Sinclair, I'll be looking to pick up both of these guys if they drop. Hopefully they drop down. Malera could be playing. He could get dual position status too. Don't forget that if he's playing in the midfield. Another reason you might want to pick him up if you are going to go an over 600k player in defence. Maybe he's the one because you could get a midfield dual position player by the first round that they do it, about 6 rounds in or something like that. Midfielders, Jack McRae, I'm not going there this year. You just saw they don't really know where they want to play him. Hugo Garcia, I think there's better choices this year. We already got Philippou in the forward line. The rucks are very dangerous. Sam Flanders, if he plays midfield and looks even half decent, I think he's a lock at that price. Philippou, I think if he plays and he looks any chance he's playing midfield, I think he's a lock at that price. Sydney. Defenders first, please. Callum Mills won't be going there. Matt Roberts won't be going there. Don't think we need to consider anybody else. No one coming back. Midfield, Isaac Heaney had a great season, has a good season every year. I'm not paying $5.90 for him though. Gordon is a very valid pick. A lot of people would go there. I'll still consider going there. If you want to do it, I can't knock it. The only thing I think is he can be a little bit up and down. If he can put it all together, get his massive scores and his not so massive scores, then I think he's right there. Let's face it, he only played 10 matches, so he might not have been in the best form. If he gets in his best physical condition that he can possibly be in, maybe he just smashes out 120s, 130s every week. Who knows? Brodie Grundy, he's cheaper than Gawn, and he's cheaper than Cherry, and he had a much better run to the end of the season than both of them. So if you pick him, I totally understand. Forwards, Charlie Curnow, key forward. Can he do better at Sydney? I think he will do better, but is he pickable? No. Still a key forward. Won't be picking any key forwards. Even Darcy, who we picked last year from the Bulldogs, he had looked like he was going to be awesome. Sam Darcy, we thought he was going to be the Superman, and he did but he's just they're too up and down crew. A 60 score in your team by a key forward can lose you your match for your league match, and it can too many of those can affect you in your overall score too. I prefer an average of 75, 80 than 1 week 100 or 110 and the next week a 50. You just pull your hair out. So can Joel Frazier do better? He's a mid forward now. He played a bit in the back if he could get that back roll back, which we saw a little bit last year. Adam Treloar, if you don't think he's one of their main go-throughs in the midfield anymore, but if he was, maybe he could. Speaking of midfielders, there's still some other options here. We didn't really talk about them, but Ed Richards is an option. Tom Liberatore had a brilliant year. A really, really good year. And he does every year. He's that in and under player that gets in there. And he had played all 23 games. Old man now. It's a bit rude considering my actual age. But, can he do it again? I just feel like his body, might not hold up. If it does, expect a good season. But if I had to pick out of him or Richards for the same price, I'd probably pick Richards just because I feel he's a bit of a younger man and his body might hold up better. And then West Coast, we already talked about West Coast a lot. I won't be going McCarthy at 500k. We don't really know what's happening with the positioned Eagles. They might move McCarthy into midfield. He might stay in that back role. If he moves to the midfield, I honestly think his scoring will be less. He needs that distributor, kick-in, back role to get the big scores. So I don't think I'll be going there. Like we talked about, there's no... Lindsay, he's got a chance of getting a game. We've already got him in the team. Midfield, Jack Graham, Elliot Yeo, Tim Kelly, Harley Reid. So as you can see, Elijah Hewitt, Jack Hudson got injured. So I'm not too sure when he'll be coming back. William Dersma. And now we got Finn McClay. We've got Harry Schoenberg too. Another mature age boy. So I think this is, how do we get him in the team? We get rid of him and we put Schoenberg in. Another big-bodied, player who has experience. So is he more chance to get a game than Dersma? Are the Eagles going to play? Is he just there for backup? Same with the Finn McRae. Are the Finn McRae and Schoenberg there for backup, or do they want guys with a bit more experience and a bit bigger bodies in and around the ball? We're going to have to see. We don't know what Minnie McWalter is, but I think if he plays, lock him in. If Dersma plays, might be, Minnie McWalter showed a tendency to drop players, so he might give him a go. He might not. Finn McRae, if he plays, lock him in. Dev Robinham, if he plays, lock him in. If you see them come play the preseason games in the number one teams, and they're in the first fixture, when the first fixture comes along, if they're named, lock them in. Don't go anywhere near the ruck unless the Duff Man is also named. And forward line, Tim Kelly, I think it's a good option. Just hold on. I think I'm going to sneeze. Nope, maybe not. Okay, so next team, that's it. All right, crew. So we've kind of got our basic team picked out here. Now we still got 400k left. So where do we want to spend that 400k? Let's how do we want McKercher up there. That way we can see our top players, and do we want another premium here? So I think 3 in the defense is fine. You got our 2 guns and our mid-pricer, who I really think has a chance of being a gun. So, and then we've got rookies. Here's our slightly, hopefully dependable rookie that plays every week, and then 2 bargain basement rookies. Even Bo Allen is not a bargain basement rookie, but at 150, if he can play games every week, he potentially, I think, has been earmarked maybe for a wing role. We know wing roles aren't the best for Supercoach scoring, but even if he gets 60 or 70 a week and he plays every week, fine. And these are just 2 placeholders. Let's go down. We got the Bont. Everybody wants a Bont in their team, and we got Jack Steele. It's good. And then if we're picking again, let's just go. I'm going to put Schoenberg on the field. Young in that position. Draper. Parrish, so Bont, Jack Steele, Hayden Young, Will Day. Maybe Will Day is a little bit of the risk. Maybe we can move this up to another gun. But I think in this team, having our Vicentini friend here is a risk. So maybe that's where we get rid of. Maybe that's where we We put Duff Tyler there. Oh no, because we want to keep Duff Tyler here. We think he'll get a game in the forward line. He's at least going to get a option early. Whether it'll be the first game, we don't know. They might give the other, they might give Harry Archer or Archer Reed. They might give him a go as the third tall. They might give Duff Tyler a third tall option. Depends on how he can help out in the ruck, I think. If he's doing a third tall with help out in the ruck, that's going to be brilliant. So maybe here or here. Do we go the real cheap here? And then, so I still think this is not great having him here. We would prefer to have a mid forward, like, say we got rid of him and we pick a bargain basement mid forward. This dude here. We're going to put Sam Draper and do that. So now we have a bit of flexibility there. We prefer this than the ruck option there. It's just that Vicentini is the number one ruck, he's probably going to make too much money. So you're probably going to have to get him in one of these two positions. Now, how much money we got? We got 486k. Do we want to risk? I think Draper, he hasn't shown that he can score the big scores. It's flexible, yes, I know, but maybe the set and forget ruck is the way to go. Do I feel confident? Who do I feel confident can score more? A Parrish, a De Goey, like a Yo, or a Draper? I mean, we could have a quick look at Draper and see how did he go last year. I think he had some good scores, but not some great scores, and no real massive scores. So here we go. Supercoach. So rounding out the season, he had that's a game logs. Yep, game logs. Here we go. So round 6 was the last time he played. He got 100 when he played how much time on the ground? 69 and 87. But he also got a 59 and a 67. Full forward. So hit outs, 27 and 26. So he wasn't really playing full-time ruck. So when he played full-time ruck, 25 hit outs, 26 hit outs, 27 hit outs, he's averaging about 100. So 106. The time when he played full-time ruck, he's averaging 106. He is priced at 91. I don't think he is priced at 91, to be honest. This guy here is 370 is 86. Because of the lack of games, he must be getting a discount. So he's actually priced closer to 75. Let's say 75. But if he plays number one ruck, he can get 100 each game. So he's got good value. And if he got 100 each game, his price would go up to around about 550. Sometimes you can look. If you get this guy, Lloyd Meek got around 100. Jared Witt's got about 100 for the season. That average is about 550. So there's a lot of up value there. So maybe we do that, and then we hope that one of the other big ones like Gawn or Grundy come down. And the unfortunate thing about that is we're giving away captain opportunities. So he could be a decent one for the flex, but I don't like the ruck in the flex. So we got 400k to spend. Are we happy with the forward line? Sheasel, Kelly, Philippou, Roverton, Flanders. Yep. So if we do this, and do this, Sheasel, Kelly, Flanders, to value, Primo, and then basically 3 rookies, but they're all rookies that they're not fresh. They're all mature age, played some games, and could potentially be in the top 22 of their team straight away. I think I'm locking in Cherry. I've just seen what he can do. I think he's up for another big season. Now, what about these guys? So what if we don't trust Will Day? Will Day's a bit of a mid-pricer, but he's an expensive mid-pricer. We've got the Parish and DeGoey as our mid-pricers. What if we don't trust Yo? I think we trust Young better than Day or Yo. I think he can score. I think Hayden Young could score the same as these boys, but is much cheaper. So let's say who is, I mean, at Hawthorn, you think Will Day has to be the man now, right? Could get tagged though. Let's take him out just because of the tag chances and try. So this gives us 968k to play. And before we go forward, so we're happy with our back line. Rosie, Ash, McKercher. Again, two premios, a mid-price, and I think it's a primo, just the one. And then 3 rookies, all rookies that have played who could be in the best 22. Obviously, it'd be very unlikely I have 3 West Coast rookies as the season starts. But 2, Darcevich and Lindsay, or Darcevich and Allen, and somebody else, another rookie from another team, somebody else, is quite possible, I would think. So who can we afford? We can afford anybody we want. Do we just want to go, since we don't have a valid captain option for in the ruck, maybe we go Butters and give ourselves a valid option here. What about Dacos? A little bit cheaper than Butters. Probably going to have a big year. Brayshaw, I think, is going to have a good year, but a bit more expensive this year, more than what he was last year. Are there any, I mean, Zach Merritt, it's under 600. Down from what he can do, we know. Eric Goulden, 566. So at 560, what about, that's almost 100 grand we save. We liked Goulden at the beginning. What about Yo? What about we just say, we said we're going to go guns and rookies. Well, Yo is probably a mid-pricer. He could go up, he could go down, he could get a decent score, he might not. So what if we went with another under 600 guy like Zach Merritt? If we go Schoenberg and then we go Young to Merritt, how much money we got? We still got 270k. And don't forget, like we spoke about, some of these rookies we might want. So having this rookie here at 99k is probably unlikely. So let's just pick a 113 guy. If you get a 99k rookie that's going to play, excellent. But the likelihood of that happening, let's pick Zane here from old Richmond. All right. So we got 258 to spend. We like the defense. I don't think we just have to potentially go, did you want to spend some extra money on getting Wanganeen Malera? I think the value option, we learnt last year, value options are the way to go. So we could chuck this on top of Starcevich and get ourselves another gun in the defender. Like we could get Lockie Whitfield as well. Maybe we could get Jordan Clark. No, we had 500 and we'd only have about 520. I mean, we could get James Sicily instead of him if we thought that Sicily had that role. Jasper Fletcher, we think is going to have a good year. No one else I would really consider. Tom Stewart, I'm just not going to go there. I would never touch Caleb Daniel again, even though he did very well for us this last year. Josh Dacos had a very good year, but I think it's a position. Bailey Dale, we got him last year. He was very up and down for us. I don't know if I could put myself through that again this year. So I kind of like the setup here. The 3 of these guys and then 3 cheaper guys. Same here. 3 of these guys. Tim Kelly might not be here. He was pretty rough last year. He did play quite a bit of forward. Maybe we can find, it's a bit risky having him there, but Petrarca is almost 120k more. And there's no guarantee Petrarca is going to be the number in the guts midfielder. I mean, we know he's pretty good in front of goals. They had Torque Miller kind of playing that midfielder, goal kicker, spent some time up forward, kick goals last year. Maybe Petrarca takes that role. Maybe Torque Miller keeps that role. We really don't know. Mate, we could have Dylan Moore. These guys they're a lot more expensive. I mean, even Shea Bolton, we saw what he could do. He could just drop a real nasty score in your side. So I don't know if I love this pick. I also think Jordan De Goey down here instead of Tim Kelly, maybe that's the way to go. He's 80k cheaper. Let's do this. Let's do that. Chisel, De Goey, Flanders. So we've got here's basically two mid-prices. But I'm calling Kelly a mid-pricer as well. Want to go cheap in the forward line. I'll forgive myself for going some mid-prices in the forward line because I don't really see, besides Sheasel, I'm not going Rankin again. He goes up and down. You could easily pick him up for 450 later on the season if you want to get him. Nick Martin's injured for the entire season. Key forward, not going there. Petrarca is the only one that I'm like, but I'd like to see it. Darcy, I'm not going there. Up and down. Myers, I like him. Could go there. And then there's nobody. Then there's, maybe Dylan Moore, but he didn't have the best season. Bailey Humphries if he played a lot of midfield, but they've got a million midfielders there. So there's no one there at the forward line I really like. So if I'm going to go value options, mid-prices, I think the forward line is the place to go until we see who the real premium is going to be. Like we got burnt last year with Jason Horne-Francis and a few of the other guys who we thought we were going to, and they were more expensive. And they were our mid-prices, but they were more expensive. These guys are pretty cheap. So I'm liking that. So we've got 660k now. So potentially we've got Bontempelli, Steele, Merritt, Goulden, Young, Parrish. What about Parrish? Had a pretty average year last year, right? But we know what he can do. Let's have a quick look at Parrish. So Supercoach, last year he averaged 88. Year before he averaged 89. Then the years before that, 108, 110, 116. But it's been 2 years since he did that. It's been 2 years. How many games did he play? He only played 3 games last year and he played 12 the year before. So he hasn't been that durable. When he gets 23, 16, when he played a lot of games, he can score quite decently. He's age 28, so it's not like he's over his prime. He's still, he can still put out a good score. So I think he's one to keep an eye on, just about his body. I think it's for 330. I think I'm willing to have a look at that. So we should be looking at midfielders. We've got 660k. We need to leave ourselves at least 100k to upgrade some of these rookies to the more higher price rookies. We learned last year that the higher price rookies are the ones that really paid off. So is there a player around 550 that we think has got potential to go huge? Sam Walsh, a fully fit Sam Walsh. LDU at 520. Won't be touching, Chad Warner. Won't be touching Clayton Oliver until we see. Well, if Clayton Oliver comes out and goes 100, then maybe it's the way to go. Again, we could go Will Day, but I think Will Day is almost like a mid-pricer and a mid-pricer with a bad body. So we still got Elliot Yeo here, you know, Bontempelli, Steele, Merritt, Goulden, Young. Do we like this? Do we like this? Do we want another? And the question is, do we want another rookie here? And a gun, you know, a gun up here. Sam Draper, let's say he's not the man. Let's be at one of these mid prices back that we who's the cheaper out of Yo and Will Day? $450 for Yo. Let's get a player here who we think that can score well. How much have we got? We got 330k. 330k. Some type of mid-forward swapsy would be nice, you know, with a dual position. You know, I love to call it swapsy. DPP only, nobody more than 337k. Is there anyone here who jumps out and grabs me as like, hey, get in my team? The only thing, yeah, maybe the Vicentini move here. Let's do the Vicentini move. Take off the dual position. We can move that back out because it doesn't really matter. $180. How much does this give us? It gives us 150k. So with that in mind, we couldn't get a gun. Like, as we said, Draper's 20 points under as the full-time ruck. So I think the value there is pretty good, but it doesn't give us a captain choice. Do we like this team? What do you reckon, crew? Do you like this team? I think I'd prefer not to have a Yo, to have another rookie here, and to have just like a gun ruck. Even put Draper down here. And just have like mega ruck. Who do you want? You want Grundy for what he did last year, or you want Gawn? Let's just pick Grundy for what he did last year. He gets a reward for being an absolute beast last year. And then maybe not, because it's a little bit expensive. Then we wouldn't be able to afford. We'd need basically a 99k rookie to make this happen. Maybe we'll just do that. Wishful thinking that we get ourselves a 99k rookie and not do what we said we were going to do. Put Dersma because he's more expensive. All right, I think that we're going to call that the team. I think, do we like it? It's not too bad. We spent everything except 9,000. We're probably going to have to leave a little bit more money in the bank just so we can upgrade some of these rookies to the 200 guys. Don't forget, most of these guys are placeholders. The only ones I like the look of is Schoenberg. I think if he plays is a lock. Duff Tyler, I think if he plays, you can easily have him not on field because he's going to be playing a third tall probably most of the time. But I think he's worth having for that flexibility like we saw last year. And both of these guys. So, but besides that, let's have a quick look at the team and go through it. Connor Rosie, number 1, defender. Lockie Ash, number 2. Colton McKercher, number 3. I'm calling him a primo, but he's in that mid-pricer spot. Then you've got 3 rookies. One, hopefully, I call Starcevic a rookie, high-price rookie to / mid-pricer. Kind of anything over 200k, I guess you're calling a mid-pricer. So he's our mid-pricer, but he's a very cheap mid-pricer. These 2 guys could be any rookies, playing rookies that we like. Number 1, we've got the Bont. he is our captain option along with Cherry each week. Steele is a number 2. He sounds like he's going to be a steal at Melbourne. Sorry about the pun. Merritt, I think Merritt could have a very good season. Goulden, and then a couple of mid-prices in the way of Young and Parrish, and a couple of Jager Smith, who if he plays, is going to be a lock, and we'll see if Dersma, as the number 1 draft pick, gets a game. Cherry and Grundy, we're going the big set and forget. I think this is fair. I think it's fair to pick it this way. If someone like a Visitini comes along, well, we'll obviously snap him up and in either one of these positions and make some money with that. In the forward line, Sheasel, I think he is almost going to be the number 1 picked player out there. Should almost be the first picked in your team. Should be the number 1 forward. And then we've got a couple of mid-price options who with potential high upsides with DeGoey and Flanders could potentially get a lot higher scores than this. And then basically 3 rookie priced players, but all for me all have experience and all have a lot of upside there. So there you go, crew. Sorry, I knew it was a long video, but always going to be picking our first team of the season. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll move just slightly back up again there if you want to have a look. Thank you everyone for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Leave me a comment down below. Have I missed anybody that you guys are definitely going to have in your team? Do you like my structure? Are you going to go guns and rookies? Do you you're going to throw a few more of these mid prices in and around? And yeah, anything else you'd like to say, shoot me a message and I promise I will message you back. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to the 2026 season where I'm going to see you all very soon. So I will talk to you all then. Have a great week. And have a Merry Christmas. Thanks everyone. Goodbye. Take it away, Skip.